Do you want to create, multiply, and manage your wealth like multimillionaires and billionaires? In 2025, you can set up your own family office legacy wealth strategy in 45 days. Producers Wealth has open enrollment for their family office workshop, the Family Polaris. In the 6-week family office workshop, you will set up the 5 family office structure pillars. MC Lobsher and his team at Producers Wealth will walk you through setting up legacy assets like your family statement of purpose and your family constitution, legal tax and insurance structures to contractually multiply the family's wealth with every generation, your own family bank to finance everything your family needs, asset management strategies of billionaires and endowments, and how to establish your very own family mastermind. In 45 days, you will have your own family office structure in place if you join this program. The workshop includes curriculum, which consists out of video lessons, weekly live coaching Zoom calls, and community. You can be part of a community of like-minded families that want to live and leave a legacy for their families. You can apply to join the program at yourownfamilyoffice.ai. That's yourownfamilyoffice.ai. The world is going through changes. Changes happening at a speed that we have never seen before. This is leading to disruption, chaos, panic, fear, hysteria, and a turbulent economy and marketplace. How do you protect your wealth in a turbulent world? How do you invest for cash flow in alternative assets to escape the rat race in times of uncertainty? How do you decentralize yourself, your family, your community, your business, and your investments to become sovereign and escape the matrix? If you are looking for strategies, tactics, and techniques to escape the rat race and matrix, you are in the right place. My name is MC Lobsher, and this is Cashflow Ninja. This is Cashflow Ninja. I'm MC Lobsher. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode and spending your most valuable resource, your time, once again with me on the show. Everything Cashflow Ninja is at cashflowninja.com. That's cashflowninja.com. We've got over 1,000 episodes, 4 books, reports, webinars, and much, much more, all at cashflowninja.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the #1 newsletter in the alternative wealth strategy and alternative asset investing space, the Wealth Dojo. You can subscribe to the Wealth Dojo by going to cashflowninja.com/subscribe. I've got a fantastic show for you today. In today's show, we're going to look at how you can incorporate AI into your business to give you a competitive advantage. My guest today is Phil Pallen. Phil, great to see you.
It's good to be here. I'm so excited about this chat we're going to have.
Very, very excited. We're on the same track here with AI, and you wrote a book about it, AI for Small Business, from marketing and sales to HR and operations, how to employ the power of artificial intelligence for small business success. Available on Amazon right now and other places. But before we jump into this, can you please share a little bit about your background and journey with my listeners and my viewers?
Thank you so much for that intro and the enthusiasm and the mention of the book. Even hearing that out loud doesn't get old. Still doesn't get old, but my background is in branding and marketing. So from Canada, moved to the US to do my master's degree. My master's degree was structured in a way where I got to venture into each aspect of business as I was doing my thesis. And in that process, I thought, this branding thing is something that I could see myself doing full time. It's kind of fun. And I want to make sure I have a job that's something that feels fun if I'm going to do it every day. So moved out to LA, did what I thought I was supposed to do and applied for a bunch of jobs, didn't hear back. And I thought, well, I need to pay rent next month. So what tangible skills do I have? Wasn't an entrepreneur on purpose, but essentially started my business. My first 3 clients were individuals, real estate agent, makeup artist, and a jewelry designer, all women. And they said, Phil, help us figure out this thing uh, this like added pressure to like have a presence on the internet, a website, a social media strategy. I thought, well, I'll help you figure this out. It's still kind of new. This was 2011. I'll help you figure this out. And without realizing it consciously, I launched a business that specialized in personal branding. So now 14 years later, over 400 clients in 35 countries, I have a business that's really fulfilling for me, which is helping people position, build, and promote. I say people because I primarily do personal branding, but I've done startups and I've done corporations, all kinds of projects from, people that say, Phil, I think we can trust you to help us with this. And around the time of the right before the pandemic, actually, I thought, well, I should probably take some advice that I give to my clients, which is create content in a way that I find fulfilling, which for me is teaching, speaking, and creating videos is something that I really enjoy. And I started to post videos about branding. I then got a few emails from brands that were like, "Hey, Phil, we like your style of communicating and making videos. Can you make a video about our platform?" So brands like Adobe, first AI tool was called Synthesia. That was an AI avatar tool that's very popular. I believe I was one of their first creators to use their custom avatar technology. And the video I created did quite well, into the hundreds of thousands of views. And that is really what kickstarted my venture into each week creating a video, trying a new, often AI powered tool, and creating a dedicated video about it. So I'm not like one of these creators that has millions of subscribers and does like integrations and product, integrations in the videos. For me, I like making a dedicated video about a marketing platform that I think could be really useful for a small business owner. That's how a summer, when was it? Yeah, last summer, the publisher reached out to me and said, Phil, we've seen your YouTube videos. Do you have any interest in writing a book? Here's the title, here's the description, here's the advance. Would you like to take it? In the first email. And I thought, oh my God, writing a book. I have no idea how to do that. I know how to make a video, but I don't know how to write a book, but I'm going to say yes, because it's going to be a challenge. And I'm thrilled that I said yes. The book launched less than a month ago. And here we are today. So that's the synopsis of my life. How did I do?
Awesome. Awesome. What I love about your story is you actually did the AI, like utilize AI, right?
Yeah.
So what I've seen is there's so many people that have opinions on it and they can tell you exactly where it's going, and nobody's using this stuff themselves. So one of the things that I love about your story, and that's our philosophy on this show, is, we eat our own cooking, we practice what we preach.
Yes.
And, you utilized it within your own business and started to see the just the power of AI and how you can actually leverage it, not just build a complete AI business, because this is the latest clickbait that I see, like
100%.
make money with AI and do, again, targeting the folks that I'm just going to do nothing and AI is going to do everything for me. Not quite.
Not quite.
Love it how you've leveraged it to grow your business and grow your brand and your presence.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The truth is, I wasn't this receptive to tools like ChatGPT when I first tried them out. And I think this is relatable for people, maybe not as much now that it's been around for quite a while, around 2 years, generally accessible. But I remember staring at my ChatGPT chat, the first one, going, how do I interact with this thing? And it's similar to how we felt more than a decade ago, looking at Google going, it's well more than, way more than a decade, but like looking at Google going, how do I interact with this? But that was easier to learn because with Google, you arrive with a question that you want an answer to. And we've learned how to formulate our questions to hopefully get the answer we're looking for. AI is really different than that. So it's totally okay to just start a conversation, and it doesn't even have to be a question. The first thing I type into ChatGPT, actually, out of habit, is I'm going to use this chat to insert the task. And then what I do right away, I say, don't take action yet, because I'm not done giving you the input to get the output. So I tell chat what I'm using the chat for. And what I love is that it'll then populate a title for the chat, and I go in and rename it in a way that I can keep my chats organized. So like, I don't even arrive with a question. I arrive with, hey, here's how I'm going to use this chat today. And here's what we're going to work on. Don't take action yet. I want to give you some input, some examples, some data to compute much faster than my human brain can. And that's the joy of AI, really.
That's what I mean. It's Chat GPT, not question GPT, right? I love it. You're having a
Yes.
conversation, and it's then getting you the outputs that you want. Now, we've got a lot of small business owners listening to this, and a lot of business owners, and they might be feeling overwhelmed. They might
Yeah.
look at AI and just go, "You've already thrown out one of the platforms, Synthesia, which is a fantastic platform," but they're looking at this and they go, I don't even know where to start. What are some ways, just practical ways, that small business owners can just start to utilize AI?
So the most important thing that you can do, this is not going to be advice that you're expecting from an author of a book about AI. The most important thing you can do is not let AI become a distraction in your small business. I say small business specifically because every small business owner wears a lot of hats. We might be managing our business, but then we're jumping in and creating content. We're jumping in and managing HR and operations and sales. That's all our responsibility. And so the most important thing you can do is not let something like this derail the core focus and function of your business. So I get excited only when we discover when AI can help us do two things: focus on the areas of business where we make high impact. So we continue to focus in our business where we make high impact. That's crucial for any small business owner, regardless of industry. But also, how do we delegate tasks to AI to free us up time to do more of the things we enjoy doing? I, independent of AI for years working in branding, have always been solely motivated by the desire to have everyone on this earth have a job that they feel fulfilled by. I think people walking around on earth would just be a whole lot happier if everyone loved their job. And that's truly always been my mission. And I guess I'm more enthusiastic about it now because I feel like AI is democratizing that. It's giving us the ability to spend our valuable working minutes on areas of high impact and on things we actually enjoy doing. And that's exciting.
Yeah. So for business owners listening, what I've tried to do too is just, the old age principles, the Pareto principle, 80-20, and then doing an 80-20 of the 20, right? So you end up with 4%. What is the 4% of the things that you do to exponentially grow your business, stuff that you love doing and stuff that actually moves the needle? And of
Yeah.
course, then the rest goes to team members, and
Yeah.
then that and AI. So that's one of the ways that I would recommend, and just how I've started to use it is make a breakdown of everything that's going on and all the tasks that needs to be completed, and track your time. You should be doing that anyway, and then you will be shocked at how you can significantly cut out all the minutia and all of the things that you don't like doing, and basically either delegate that, or it takes an AI application to take that off your plate, so you can just focus on the things that move the needle in your business.
You and I are so aligned. That's probably my number one piece of advice, is actually not rooted in any AI function or task. It's actually just tracking your time. Um, it's the only way that even I, as someone who's like seasoned in this stuff because I've studied it and I've taught it to my clients and made videos out of it, I track my time so that by the end of the week, even 5 minutes for an email here and there, everything gets tracked. So that, and I use a tool called EverHour. There's a million tools that you can use for time tracking. I don't even care if you take out a notebook and write it in a notebook and write down how many minutes you spend. I find also just being on the clock, even when I'm working on my own project, it keeps me more accountable for where my minutes go. And what
Yep.
I do for 15 minutes at the end of every week, I look at the log of where my working minutes have gone. And I look at that almost with a highlighter, if you can imagine. I go through and I highlight, where did I make high impact in my business this week? Pat on the back. where did I work on projects that really fulfilled me? In fact, they're things I probably could delegate, but I enjoy doing them. And having AI is giving me time back to spend time on things that I enjoy. An example of that for me, I love making graphics for my YouTube videos. I do mine in Adobe Express, like really simple, the text and stuff. I find it's easier for me to communicate to my editor what I'm looking for. He can go in and animate, etc. from there. But I really like doing that. I could delegate it, but I enjoy it, so I do it. And then that final highlighter look, you want to go through and go, where did I spend some minutes here on things that I didn't really enjoy, or things, quite frankly, my human brain probably shouldn't be responsible for? And I discovered, I remember when I first started doing this, I discovered how many minutes get wasted sending emails, like replying to emails for people. So, for example, I use an AI tool called SaneBox, which automatically takes new emails and sorts them into folders that have been automatically trained based on the content that's already in those folders. So I have ones for different aspects of my business. I get about 3 new emails a day in my inbox, and I get about 150 automatically sorted into those categories. It means I check email once a day. Prior to this, I checked email 200 times a day. And I find that I'm able to focus. That's an example of a tool. Another one is replying. I get requests from brands all the time. As a content creator, I get requests. Phil, join our affiliate program. Phil, we want you to make a video. We're not going to pay you. Phil, yeah. Replying to those emails, not the best use of my time. And so I have an AI tool. I have a few of them actually, testing out a few of them all the time because I'm a geek for this stuff. But I want to be able to automatically draft a reply, or even just in Google, select a template email. Hi, thanks for the email. At this time, I don't do purely affiliate deals. If you're interested in working together, here's a link on my website. 3 seconds to choose the template, click send, instead of, minutes compounding here and there. I'm sure you get it. So like a lot of the tools and stuff that I'm giving to people, these aren't actually AI tools. They're AI adjacent templates in Google. A time tracking tool like EverHour integrated into Google Chrome. Another one I love is TextBlaze, is a free Google Chrome extension to save your text snippets, which could be AI prompts, but could also just be anything that you find yourself spending minutes trying to find or source. So like your bio, or your social security number. Like it could be anything.
Right. What are some of the mistakes that you see small business owners make when they start to with AI and start to integrate AI?
They get distracted. I'm going to build on the comment I said earlier, which was, what was your advice for someone just getting started? My advice was, don't get distracted. It's dangerous, particularly when we are hit with content that is designed to be viral. It's designed to stress you out. And it's making us feel less than. It's making us feel like we're behind. One of my biggest pet peeves is any piece of content that makes someone feel like they're behind because they haven't yet implemented AI. That, honestly, it enrages me because it is false. It is false. No one is behind. This isn't a race. If anything, the challenge is staying focused on your business without letting this stuff become a distraction. So try, it's fine to like read about it and to consume the content, but don't let it dominate your day or distract from the things that really matter. The way that we can responsibly incorporate AI is by being laser focused on the elements that you and I have been describing. Where do I make high impact? Keep doing it. What do I enjoy doing in my business? Keep doing it. Where are there areas, those little things that creak into our day, that you can easily delegate to another team member or automate using AI? Those little things are really the key opportunity, not just in efficiency and scale, but also just in happiness and fulfillment. I'll always bring it back to that because that's really what my driver is.
My new book, Get Wealthy for Sure, the #1 financial strategy for business owners to multiply wealth predictably, just hit #1 on Amazon. So Get Wealthy for Sure is an Amazon #1 bestseller. In this book, you'll learn the wealth building secrets that the ultra rich have used for over 170 years. You'll learn how to create your own banking system using a dividend paying whole life insurance policy, allowing you to finance your business growth, invest in lucrative opportunities, and build generational wealth, all tax free and protected from market volatility. You'll also learn the proven strategies used by icons like Walt Disney, the Rockefellers, and top CEOs to grow their empires and get wealthy for sure. You'll learn how to build a team of expert financial professionals, implement tax-efficient strategies, and protect your assets from creditors. You'll also learn the power of thinking like the wealthy and aligning your capital for maximum impact so you can take control of your financial destiny. I also share a step-by-step aligned capital strategy that will guide you to a life of certainty, clarity, and predictability without falling victim to misinformation or settling for the status quo. If you want to get a free copy of my book, Get Wealthy for Sure, and only pay the shipping and handling, you could go to getwealthyforsure.com. That's getwealthyforsure.com. So branding and marketing is your strong suit. What are some ways that business owners and some of your clients have implemented a branding and marketing strategy incorporating some AI tools?
What a great question. I'll give a recent example from a client call this morning. One of the things that I'm excited about with AI for small business is the speed at which information can be computed. At no way, or in no circumstance will AI ever replace me. That's my belief as a brand strategist. I think there are inherently human components to my work, my perspective, my opinion that make what I do valuable, and the access my clients have and pay for to me that AI just simply does not offer. Lived experience, examples of having done this for 15 years. At the same time, I get excited about how I can plug AI into my workflow and actually do my job better. I want to give you an example. For every single client project, I use ChatGPT Teams, a Teams account, which I pay $25 a month for. The Pro account is $20. I pay that extra $5 a month because ChatGPT, in its terms and conditions, says that it will not train the model on my information. And I feel more confident doing client work. I still am always careful about inputting anything confidential into ChatGPT because I don't really trust OpenAI. But I'm on a Teams subscription, which is that base level that gives you that kind of promise from OpenAI that they're not going to train the model on your data, which is great. So what I do is I create a project for each of my clients. Within a project in ChatGPT, I've got 3 unique areas. Files. In the files section, the main thing that I upload are call transcripts. That's important. We're going to come back to that in a second. Every call transcript with a client project from start to finish goes in that section. The other section is instructions. This will sometimes stay empty until we give that project a specific purpose. Let's say we're writing social media content. That's the example I'm going to give you. So I might work in a chat. That's the third section, is like multiple chats. By having them in a project, they can interact with each other. Prior to projects in ChatGPT, every chat was separate and there was no real way to get that interaction going. So what I will do is, let's say we're writing LinkedIn content. I have clients that will say, Phil, I want to hop on a call with you once or twice a month, and I just want to juice that content out of me and help me write it, and it's one less thing for me to worry about. So I do this all the time. What I'll do is we'll work from the same channel, or chat rather, for months. And what I do is we'll write social media content, let's say for LinkedIn. The client will post it, make edits and post it. I'll take the posted content, feed it back into the chat and say, here are the edits the client made. Let's learn from this. Once we have a few weeks of content from that chat, I can then say, you're going to see how this all connected? I can say to that chat, help me write instructions for this project to inform ChatGPT on this client's brand voice. And once I've got enough evidence in there, examples of what's been posted, ChatGPT can do an incredible job of computing the work and putting it into words that then I'll put as the instructions on that chat, which can then impact every other project we go to do later on. The final stage of this is making sure that anytime I'm communicating with that client, be it email threads, call transcripts are the most important. They go under the files section. The truth is, I can do my job so much better now as a brand strategist because I'm the conductor of this train. I don't actually have to push the train myself. I can, in an instant, recall something a client said from 4 months ago that exists in a call transcript that I will never find manually. But I know now that I've got the technology simply based on the speed at which we can compute information to do my job well and to do my job responsibly as a brand strategist. I know that was a long answer, but I had to paint the full picture of how I'm using these tools every single day.
And video plays a very big role in branding and marketing these days, and especially short ones, right? Collectively, we have the attention span of a gnat. I joke,
Yeah.
constantly. What are some of the ways that you've incorporated video and used AI with video?
Yeah, so that's interesting to me. This is a newer frontier. AI and video, or if we look at AI video creation, this is going to be the hot topic this year. We just saw Adobe roll out its new technology, text to video, last week. We've seen a huge focus on generally accessible AI text-based generation, which is what you and I have been talking about with tools like ChatGPT. Last year, a huge focus in image generation from tools like Adobe Firefly, Midjourney, DALL-E, etc. I use Adobe Firefly because the images I create in it are safe for commercial use. Not a sexy topic to discuss, but it's hugely important for small business owners. There are lawyers out there and there are crooks that their sole purpose is to catch you with an image you may have accidentally put on your website from Google Images that you don't have permission to use. Those can result in serious lawsuits. So image generation, but image generation responsibly, AI use in general responsibly is really, really important. Video is going to be a huge focus this year. For me, I don't like anything that replaces the human experience. So I don't like AI generated profile images. I don't like, I've tried the custom avatar and I've made entertaining content from it, but I still don't use it in my content because I feel like it's a decoy from the original thing. So for me, anytime that I use AI within the context of video, some common uses might be computing a transcript to find the best moment of a conversation. So for example, you using Riverside or tools like Descript could take the transcription and even feed that into ChatGPT and say, hey, I had a really interesting discussion with Phil. Help me identify 3 clips that I could post on social media from our discussion. AI is a great tool for condensing, identifying moments. It's not as good for copywriting or for generating text without a lot of input. But that's an example of like how I would use it. I still feel in an age of information and AI, we're going to crave human. So even though you and I right now are connecting virtually, we have video as a way to simulate you and I sitting, having coffee together, catching up as new friends. Like I never will use video in a way that replaces the human experience, if that makes sense. If anything,
Yep.
I think humans are craving more human. So I lean into video creation. It doesn't have to be picture perfect. It could be me on my phone on a walk talking about 3 things I'm thinking about. AI is always going to help me extract and juice the ideas, but the ideas are still going to come from me.
Yeah. I also think of like quick explainer videos where
Yeah.
somebody needs to understand a concept or a topic in 30 seconds or less. I've seen that used effectively too, where it's like, There's 30 seconds, boom, and you have an AI video and that explains it, and that's valuable. But
Definitely valuable. Maybe you can keep your voice. Like maybe
yeah,
the creator is able to keep their human component in it by just using a voiceover. I always think like, yes, let's use technology, but let's also find a way to make the technology human.
right, right. You and I discussed, one of my companies, we created a bot, and that was going to be my next question too. One of the, with my company, Producers Wealth, we have a bot that pops up on our website now, all
Yeah,
AI,
great
and it's
idea.
Atlas is the name. So Atlas has all of our IP, all of our information, and Atlas can quickly on the spot just answer questions and then connect you with a human to then have a strategy call with you. Um, I just wanted to share this, and maybe if you wanted to talk a little bit more about bots, because I feel like, you know, uh, there are people that, especially in the world today, I think we're all like this a little bit, right? We want answers right away. Like, what does
Yeah.
this mean? How does this work? And so
We're
forth.
used to it. We're used to getting answers right away.
So I feel like, if someone's going on a website and now you got to look for a blog with with a certain search item and so forth, it could take you a couple of minutes just to find the information that you're looking for. So the bot kind of like provides an intellectual shortcut and immediately to then connect you with a human after answering all of your questions, right? Your thoughts on bots and what other ways have you seen people use AI in their business when it comes to bots?
Love bots for the most part. I would say the thing, if you're building one, a myth is that AI is time saving. It can be, but it also cannot be. So, building a bot or building a custom GPT is very exciting. It's also very time consuming to do it properly. So it's not just getting the information in there, it's also testing it and sitting with it and having people try it and then iterating. The main thing with AI, if I was to give you a piece of advice, is just get ready to iterate, and it takes time. One of the best piece of advice I was given was image generation. I was trying to think of like the perfect prompt to get this image that I was looking for. And I was working with an engineer actually who worked on Adobe Firefly. And he said, Phil, don't put so much pressure on yourself to get the perfect prompt out of the gate. Just start with something and iterate, iterate, iterate to the point where I watched him iterate 12, 13, 14, 15 times until he was satisfied. And I realized, gosh, that's how we have to approach all of this stuff. And yes, it can save you time, but it still can be time consuming. So I would say just make sure that you're ready for that. In order for something to be really sustainable, in order for something to be really useful, it's going to take some time and experimentation and iteration to get it just right. But I'm really excited by it's just that to me is an example of what I described earlier. Something like that is alleviating the pressure on you and allowing you to focus in your business on the areas you make high impact. The area where people get frustrated is if they can't make that human connection quick enough. So think about your own experiences. This is pre-AI. When you would call a customer service line, you have to wait or you have to only talk to a robot and you can't connect to a human. We all know how much we hate that.
Yep.
And so it's a balance. All of it is a balance. But I think what's key to what you've described is we can still access the human. And I think what it does is it's an efficiency that both the customer and the business owner benefit from.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, my next question, I know if you're listening to this, you've been waiting for this. I know. And thank you for listening up to now. Your favorite AI tools. What are
Oh,
some of Phil's favorite AI tools?
that's basically the hardest question you could ever ask me because that's kind of my niche. So I'm not the right guy to talk to about the latest chip technology and developments. I couldn't care less about that stuff.
Yep.
In every aspect of business, I'm always living in the present. I'm not a big futurist. I guess I think about it, but I'm always kind of like what works right now and what's useful right now for people. So, okay, let me give you some tools, and I'm going to give less obvious ones. And maybe I'll illustrate them in an example workflow that people can steal. So we're going out on our morning walk. We need to get some content. Maybe it's an Instagram post, a LinkedIn post, or an email blast. First thing I'm going to do is take out my phone and I'm going to open the app Audio Pen, which allows me to transcribe my ideas, but it's better. It uses AI to clean up the idea that I can speak freely, and it'll use AI to make the idea more cohesive and concise. What that does, I mean, the output is great, but what's more important is it puts less pressure on me, the idea generator, to like say it in the perfect sentence. I could say it twice or I could say it 3 times, and it will remove the duplicates and just really get that idea written down for me so that I can do something with it later. So I use that tool when I'm out, when I'm thinking, when I'm commuting, when I'm on an airplane. And then what I'll do is I'll probably take that idea, put it into ChatGPT, likely a channel that I've already got designated for a certain function, and say, here's the starting of an idea, formulate this into an email blast based on these 3 examples. So what I would do is I would use TextBlaze, which is a free Google Chrome extension, to save my text snippets. What it allows you to do is you write backslash and then a short code that you're going to remember. This is what you have to do as a human. You're going to commit this to memory, whatever that shortcut is, and it's going to populate that text for you. So instead of us using our human brains to memorize, let me do that again. Instead of us using our human brains to memorize ChatGPT prompts, let's just memorize the short code and commit to constantly finessing our prompts. Okay. So an example that I just used a few minutes ago, I own some short-term rental properties here in Florida, and I needed to leave a guest review. And so /guest-review populates the review that I give every guest. Guest was kind, communicative, and welcome back anytime. I've said it 200 times over the last few years because that's what I say, as long as they're a good guest. I don't have to write that out manually. Anytime I find myself writing something more than twice, it gets saved to TextBlaze. So we've gone from Audio Pen to get the idea. We've used ChatGPT or any other generative AI text tool to just workshop it and finesse it, likely based on how I trained it previously. And then we can use a tool like TextBlaze to save examples. So /YouTube script will populate 3 scripts of videos I've recorded recently. And then I could take that email or whatever we wrote and turn that into a YouTube script in about 20 minutes.
If you've been watching the news headlines, you know that the world's top CEOs, biggest investors, family offices, ultra affluent, and political elite are all moving to cash. Why? They're building up their war chest to go buy assets at a significant discount in the coming months. They are warehousing their capital in vehicles that have stood the test of time for 170 years with institutions that have made good on their promises for 170 years. If you're interested to learn how to build your own banking system using the infinite banking concept, just like all of these parties, you can watch a presentation at yourownbankingsystem.com. That's yourownbankingsystem.com. And the importance here is what you stressed at the beginning, and that's why I led with strategy, giving the framework of where does this fit in, some strategy behind it, because this is just another tool that you're incorporating, right? And then actually getting to, all right, what are you actually using in a workflow process, where if you get too excited and you just run for tools, it's gonna be shiny object syndrome every millisecond, because there's
100%.
A plethora of all these different tools, and you're just gonna be stuck in a wheel where you don't go anywhere.
100%.
Studying and going down every rabbit hole with every single AI tool.
And then you're going to get your credit card bill at the end of the month and go, what the hell is this thing I signed up for a free trial for 4 months ago and then forgot? I condense my very favorite tools, philpallen.co/tools. I limit that page to 100 AI tools that I have tried and tested myself. So my advice to you is don't spend as much time I do trying AI tools. Let someone like me, a creator that you can trust, or anyone else that you find online, let them test and try these tools and synthesize how and why it might be useful for you. But let's not forget, this is my job. I work with brands, and for 3-4 years, I've been trying AI tools, which is what led me to being able to write a book about it. Let us, figure out how and why it might be useful for you. You, small business owner, need to stay laser focused, eyes on the prize. And any of those, what we would call as opportunities, plug in an AI tool, try it out, and see if it's something that's going to help you.
Yeah, and for my philosophy too is like this is a tool, number one.
Yes.
So and I almost see it like the internet. The internet in the beginning, because depending on what you listen to, there it's a tool. So yes, it could be used for good. Yes, it could be used for bad things. Will a lot of jobs go away? Absolutely. Did a lot of jobs go away with the internet? Absolutely. Will it create a whole new economy like the internet did? Yeah, I mean that's just the evolution of these things, right? So when small business owners listen to this, don't be intimidated, don't be fearful, but also, I would say, and I'd love to hear your comment on this, you're going to have to adapt. I don't know what to
Yes.
tell you. You don't want to be that brick and mortar store that 20 years later, they're like, all right, fine, I'll get a website. I'll get a Shopify account and people can place orders online. Fine. But you're 20 years late. And then within that 20 year, I don't think you have that time frame this time to be late. I think you're out of business this go around, right?
Yeah, well, and I would say it's a balance. So you want to keep up with modern technology, but you also don't want to be so consumed and almost paralyzed by it. That's why I say like um do this in a way that focuses on the opportunities within your business and get excited about how you can use AI to solve these problems or help with these challenges. Like the genuine enthusiasm that I hear from someone describing a way that they've tried and discovered AI can be useful for them that never gets old. So yes, you want to keep up with technology because keeping up with technology creates really exciting opportunities and efficiencies. But also don't become so overwhelmed and don't become stressed out by people telling you that you're behind. I guess I would describe it as that it's kind of a balancing act for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do you see AI going in the next? Well, this is going to be very hard if you do 5 years, 10 years. So let's not even go there. Where do you see it go in the next 6 months, 6 to 12 months? What does it look like for small businesses?
I think we're at a really interesting inflection point from novelty to sustainability and meaningful impact or integration of AI. And let me explain what that is. Almost every tool right now will say on the homepage of their website, AI powered, our AI features. We've incorporated AI, our intelligent this, that, whatever they branded it as. And that's fine. And the disclaimer I wrote in the end of my book, which I'm literally going to read word for word, on the very last page says, if any of the tools in this book rebrand or get acquired, that's me nicely saying also go out of business. I didn't put that, but it's already happened.
Yep.
My list will have up-to-date names and links to my recommendations because we're so inundated with AI right now that 1 year from now or less, these tools, a handful of these tools are not going to last. It's just not sustainable. In fact, I'm frustrated that I already know of one tool that I wrote about in the book that has gone out of business. So what we're going to see right now, this inflection point is this jump from novelty, ooh, look what AI can do, to look how AI is making a meaningful difference in my business. And this really is a driver in the book for me, which was as much of a here's what I've learned in creating content and using AI in the last few years as it was a research project. So the later chapters for me privacy, compliance, HR. Like, I don't know much about that. I'm not an expert in every facet of business. I've owned a branding agency, so I know branding and marketing, operations and sales just from doing this for so long. But like, there's so many of those areas of business where you might not be as confident, where you can plug in the expertise of AI to stay on top of it. And I find that really exciting. So that's coming is a more sustainable, whoever will stay around have figured out a way to empower small business owners like us to like use these platforms in a way that's meaningful and well worth the subscription.
Awesome. We talk a lot about business. We talk about investing. We talk about cash flow on this show, all the fun stuff. But we also talk about legacy and living and leaving a legacy. So one question I always ask my first-time guests is, if you cannot leave any money for future generations, but all you can do is leave 3 principles and values to them to achieve happiness and success and build wealth, what would they be?
Oh, I love that you asked this question, by the way. I love any time that a conversation around scale and business and revenue is rooted back to things that are really meaningful. So, okay, I said at the beginning, so I have one in my mind. I'm going to come up with the other 2 on the spot. The first one would be maximize the valuable and very special time you have on earth doing things that are meaningful or fulfilling is one of my favorite words. Not just because it has Phil in it, but like, how can we be fulfilled by our work so much so that it makes an impact on others? So maybe that's the second one. So the first one is, how do you be fulfilled by your work, and how can your work that you're spending, the brand you're building, the job you're showing up for, like, how can it really fulfill you? Second, how can it lead to making a positive impact on others? I'm at the point in my business where like money in the bank is great and we need it, but my life doesn't really change in a dramatic way whether I have a couple $1,000s in my bank or out. Okay. And that's a great place to be in. I've been hard at work at this for many years, but I get moved and impacted when a client says to me, Phil, that thing you showed me, that thing you taught me, that thing we talked about made a big difference in my life and in my business, or better yet, helped me make an impact on someone else. So that's the second thing. Third thing, I think my closest value would be freedom. More important to me than money is the ability to freely decide where my time goes, where I am, geographically. I'm a huge traveler. To have the freedom to make those decisions. One of the best things that came out of the pandemic was many more people besides me realizing that you can do your work from anywhere. I've been doing that for 10 years. Yeah. People never say, Phil, how are you? They say, Phil, where are you? And so I would say it's a combination of those 3 things: being fulfilled by your work, making sure your work is tied to your mission, making sure your work, your brand is tied to helping others be fulfilled or impacted. And the third thing would be, how can you build a lifestyle, a business, a brand that grants you freedom? Because I know for me, it's the reason I keep a smile on my face most days.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that. Phil, where can folks follow you? Where can they stay in touch of all the many things that you're involved in, and also the branding work that you've done or do, and marketing work for clients? And where can they grab a copy of your book, AI
Oh
for
my
Small
gosh.
Business?
It never gets old seeing that in people's hands. It's just really, really exciting. PhilPallen.co is my website. I have a page dedicated to the book there. It's obviously on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, anywhere where books are sold, any popular places where books are sold, they will have my book in stock. On social media, the platforms I spend the most time on are Instagram and LinkedIn. I am happy to connect with you, listener, on both of those platforms. And I post at least one video every single week on YouTube, depending on the season. Right now I'm posting 3 a week, so it's a very busy season. But I am always creating content on YouTube that's designed to help small business owners make sense of this new world. So I'd love to connect with you in any of those places.
Fantastic. Well, Phil, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge and just providing so much value for all of my listeners and my viewers. It's been a blast having you on.
My pleasure. I love your podcast. I love the energy you bring, and I love your approach to all of this idea of legacy. So thank you for having me.
And thank you to all of my listeners and viewers for, again, spending a most valuable resource, your time, once again with me on the show. Everything Cashflow Ninja is at cashflowninja.com. That's cashflowninja.com. We've got over 1,000 podcast episodes, 4 books, reports, webinars, and much, much more, all at cashflowninja.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the #1 newsletter in the alternative wealth strategy and alternative asset investing space, the Wealth Dojo. You can subscribe to the Wealth Dojo by going to cashflowninja.com/subscribe. Until next time, live infinitely. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. The information being presented and considered does not consider your particular financial objectives or situation, and it does not make personalized recommendations. This material is not intended to replace the advice of a qualified tax and legal advisor or other qualified professionals, and you should not use the information in place of a customized consultation with a licensed professional regarding your specific personal financial objectives, situation, and needs. We believe the information provided is reliable, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, timeliness, or completeness.